And Roberto Paranhos do Rio Branco, the chairman of the Brazil-India Chamber of Commerce, enlightened us on what he thought the development bank should be focusing on.
I think this, of course, is easier for a bank to approve any loan, because those big companies usually they have the guarantees. A bank doesn't; they don't work without guarantees. So one of the challenges that we have in countries like ours, the BRICS emerging countries, you have a lot of still small, medium-sized companies, some poor companies, and also important to stimulate the entrepreneurs to start new business. Of course, if you are investing in a private port, the suppliers for putting this port brings together small and medium-sized companies. But I think you should have this bank also be worried about how to really help those companies in our countries to be involved in this big development, not only pushing through big companies that perhaps the small ones will come. So I think this is an important
So a greater focus on small and medium-sized enterprises as well, but you've been doing a lot of work through the council and the boards that you sit in and looking at innovation. Let's talk about that. How do you finance innovation? How should the bank think about financing innovation?
Well, the bank itself, is again something to be discussed, and I believe they should do. In the world today, everybody says that any country to be competitive has to have innovation. And Brazil is really fighting for that. You don't have innovation without entrepreneur. I have an idea, if you don't make it happen, nothing, even a patent, if I make an invention important, you have to have money to put this ahead and make money with that. So I think this also will be interesting if the bank has, and then behind that you have, in the world you have those called angels, investors that like your idea, and so they can really make this happen, So the startups. There are countries like even Chile, they are giving $40,000 for a young guy with a bright idea to go to Chile and make a startup in Chile. In some other countries they are doing that. So I think all these ideas should put together and see how we work in this innovation, in making entrepreneurs. Of course, this behind you have a culture. You have to have the students, the young people thinking, doing business. You have to really make these people be entrepreneurs. Some countries already, like US, have this culture.
Yeah.
But we have to bring in our BRICS countries more of these ideas. I believe perhaps China has a lot. Brazil is improving. India also has a lot, but could be improved. So I think the bank should be having some also special treatment for this kind of action.
Do you think the countries are doing enough to share some of their lessons about entrepreneurship and about fostering innovation even amongst themselves?
I believe, first of all, a country has to will to go after. The European market, for instance, the European community, they today have a big program, not only for Europe itself, but to put together some countries with big investments for 7 years. Some other countries are doing the same. So I think it's a question of putting university, again, schools, with the business people together, and then you have to have this arm of the finance arm to really make things happen. But the initiative to go after, I think it's the country and the business people should really give the start.